This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Yeah, I reached in through the window and held her head up so she could breathe.
A local man jumps into action to try and save a woman's life from an ultimately deadly crash. Coming up, how he relied on his experience as a former police officer and a Marine.
Also, thieves target this family-owned towing company that's been in business for decades.
Nobody seems to want to do anything about it.
What are we going to do? You know, we can't stand in the middle of the road and tell them to stop.
They think they know what's causing the crime. Now they have a message for Portland police.
And Olympic skaters showing off their skills in Sherwood. It's a great opportunity for young athletes trying to hone their talents. We're going to take you to the ice coming up here at 5:25.
And we are getting a little taste of the islands this morning with a live performance in our KGW lobby. This Polynesian dance group is called Tiva Oriada. Coming up a little later on Sunrise, we'll chat with them and tell you where you can catch a performance this summer. Look at them go. That's awesome.
I am feeling the vacation vibes on this Tuesday as people are back to work here after the holiday weekend, and our weather kind of gonna start to match that feeling.
3 days of warmer weather, 3 days of potentially dry, although there's a shower chance Thursday afternoon, but 77 today would be
nice.
Thank you very much. Would be the warmest that we've been so far this year. So here's a look at a partly cloudy sky early this morning over downtown. Of course, the sun now coming up before 5:30. We're at 52. A lot of you are in the 40s once again. This is a good looking day coming up. All dry, partly cloudy out the door, around 50 degrees on average. Sunny, mid 60s at noon. 65 would be warmer than yesterday's high. And then later today when the kids get out of school, 75. And again, I think the high could go up to around 77. That's your forecast.
Thank you, Rod. First at 5, frustration is growing for a North Portland towing company that's had entire truckloads stolen from their lot.
Yeah, they're not getting much help from the city or police and essentially say they're out of options. Here's Galen Etlin.
A towing and storage yard company in Portland says criminals keep coming back because they know there are no consequences.
They had to get the truck right out from over here.
To Tamra Zelmer, this is more than a storage yard.
My dad, he's 80 years old. He's had the property since back in the 70s.
Her family business, Zelmer Enterprises on North Columbia Boulevard in Portland, is part of a legacy.
There's the truck there. They stole that truck.
A legacy being damaged. On Sunday, thieves took one of the business's tow trucks and drove right through the storage yard's iron gate.
Busted it up.
They have a snapshot of 2 people in the front seat and say this is not the first theft.
Doesn't seem to be an end in sight.
You can only do so much.
Douglas Barty was lucky and found the truck a couple miles away the next day.
I'm just glad to have it back because this is my livelihood, you know.
He says this type of break-in and theft has happened at least 3 times at Zelmer Enterprises. This other truck has been stolen twice.
You said they cut the latch.
And storage units have been broken into. When they've confronted thieves and called police, officers responded hours later.
Nobody seems to want to do anything about it.
What are we going to do? You know, we can't stand in the middle of the road and tell them to stop.
Douglas worries growing crime, a next-door encampment, and drug use are part of the problem, illustrated by the vehicles he tows.
8 out of 10 cars have needles in them from fentanyl and heroin.
It's a bigger picture than right here.
Tamara says each break-in results in loss of customers. She's begging for a stronger presence by the city and police.
When we've asked, well, what do we do? And they said, well, you need to protect what is yours. He came through here and...
The fight to protect a family legacy. The business is just one that the Zelmers say is feeling the neighborhood impact. They're now trying to fix their gate, which could cost thousands, and block in their trucks and entrances with other cars and cement blocks. But they feel it'll all just happen again. Galen Etlin, KGW News.
This morning, we're also hearing from a retired police officer who tried to save a woman's life after a serious crash. His name is Steve Harmon. Last Friday, he and his wife were driving down Northwest Yeon Avenue when they spotted the wreck. Harmon immediately jumped in to help, reaching through a broken window and holding the woman's head up so she could breathe. Portland Fire arrived several minutes later and pulled the woman out of the car, but she later died at the hospital. Harmon says it was his training as a policeman and a Marine that pushed him to intervene.
Brought back memories of when I was on a job, and it's very sad when someone loses their life over that.
This is just one of 27 deadly crashes in Portland so far this year. Last year, 63 people died in traffic accidents, the highest number in about 30 years.
It's now been 1 week since 19 students and 2 teachers were killed in that mass shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. And the first funeral service was held yesterday for 10-year-old Amari Joe Garza. As those services continue, the conversation about the shooting is now focused on gun control. And right now, Democrats and Republicans are working on a bipartisan plan to address gun violence. It includes expanded background checks and red flag rules to ban weapons from those deemed a danger.
Funeral services began this week for the 19 school children and 2 teachers killed in last Tuesday's deadly mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas.
I think things have gotten so bad that everybody's getting more rational about it. At least that's my hope and prayer.
Democrats and Republicans are working on a bipartisan plan to address gun violence.
We have one job.
More school safety restrictions and potentially raising the gun buying age to 21 are also on the table. President Biden has also mentioned a ban on assault-style weapons, but says his executive powers only go so far. Congress is on recess this week, but hope to have a deal by June 6th.
Now to some of the other headlines that we're tracking on your Tuesday morning. Washington State Patrol says more drivers are refusing to stop for troopers when they're trying to pull them over. The agency reported more than 900 failure to yield incidents from January 1st through mid-May. WSP says part of the problem may be that suspects know troopers can't chase them. A new law prevents high-speed pursuits except in very limited circumstances. Today, the Seattle City Council is expected to vote on what it's calling the Pay Up legislation. It sets labor standards for certain app-based workers, including DoorDash and Uber Eats. If this passes, companies will have to pay drivers minimum wage, which up in Seattle is $17.27 an hour. They'd also have to pay for business expenses, including mileage. And students at the University of Oregon say the school has run out of space for kids who test positive for COVID. Students say they're quarantining in their dorm rooms instead of temporary housing set up by the university. U of O's website says students must remain in their room except to get food, shower, or step outside for some fresh air. And those are some of your Tuesday morning headlines.
Across the nation, Americans gathered to observe Memorial Day with parades, ceremonies, and quiet prayer. And in Portland, Willamette National Cemetery paid tribute to fallen service members.
Hundreds of people turned out for the first in-person Memorial Day tribute in 3 years. The event included a wreath laying, a flyover from the Oregon National Guard's 142nd Wing, a rifle salute, taps, and speeches.
The defenders of this nation have fulfilled their obligations to us. It is now our duty to honor all of the obligations we owe them. We are all charged with this responsibility to do our best to repay the debt that is owed to those who have presented us with our most precious gift, freedom.
Scouts in Vancouver honored fallen service members in a big way, raising a 20 by 38-foot flag. It was one of several ways the public honored those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
And a Portland mausoleum that only opens to the public one day a year was back for the first time in 3 years. Wilhelm's Memorial Mausoleum in Selwood held tours yesterday for the public who can only enter on the holiday. Normally, it's only friends and family who can come inside. 97,000 people are interred there, so they call it a city within a city. There are 7 miles of marble hallways and the mausoleum takes up 3 city blocks. Quite a thing to see.
The Memorial Day meteor shower was a bit of a bust last night here in the Pacific Northwest. The weather, the city lights, everything kind of interfered with our view. Up in Seattle, the National Weather Service tweeted the peak of the meteor shower happened about 10 p.m. Now, if you lucked out and got to see it, send us a photo if you took one. You can text pictures to 503-226-5072.
I love that statement. They're like, about the meteor shower last night. You couldn't really see it.
Well, remember a big part of the story we had on this meteor shower was NASA wasn't sure if we were going to move into the debris belt of the comet, and they said this could basically be the most vast meteor shower we've seen in years and years and years, or we wouldn't get anything.
Yeah.
So it looks like, at least for our neighborhood, we got
nothing.
That reminds me of past snowstorm forecasts.
Hard to do, right?
Now that I go back to memory lane. All right, good morning, everybody. Today's a kickoff of some warmer days. 3 to 4 nice temperature days coming up with highs mainly in the 70s. And it all starts today. I do want to point out the system offshore. It is weakening, but we will get those cloudiness, the cloudiness from that system coming in not today but tomorrow. And there's some question mark as to how much cloudiness we see tomorrow or not. And that will impact whether or not we see 80, we think, for the first time this year tomorrow. Here's a beautiful shot. This is partly cloudy skies in Lincoln City, looking up to the north from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. That is gorgeous. And generally speaking, we expect partly cloudy skies out the door this morning. There's a little bit more cloudiness than that in some areas of the valley. Here are the temperatures right now: 39 Baker City, 46 in Bend. Again, generally speaking, here on the west side, we are partly cloudy at this hour, and we will get going with a mostly sunny Tuesday in the coming hours. So here's Futurecast. 8 o'clock this morning and then 8 o'clock this evening. Yeah, it's basically mostly sunny, right? Pretty nice. All right, so forecast numbers for today. Well up into the 70s, we think. This gives Salem 75. Winds will be light. Winds will be light out in the gorge today as well. The west-northwest breeze. And then up in Longview, 75. Vancouver and Portland, I think, has a chance to get up to 77, which would be, by 1 degree, the warmest we have been so far this year. 80 tomorrow, depending on how thick those clouds are. Shower chance on Thursday, but it could be Friday before we return to rain. And there's the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, rain in the 60s. That's a high confidence call because it seems like we've had a lot of rain in 60s on the weekends lately.
Yes, it does seem like that. We'll focus on tomorrow. All right, Rob, thank you. Hey, we have been getting a taste of the islands this morning with a live performance in our KGW lobby. This is Polynesian dance group. They're called Tiva Oriata. This month is Asian American and Pacific Islanders Awareness Month, and what a way to spread awareness of this beautiful dancing. After the break, we're going to chat with them and tell you where you can catch an upcoming performance this summer.